Loved Me Back to Life is the 11th English-language studio album by Canadian singer Celine Dion, released by Sony Music Entertainment on November 1, 2013. It was preceded by the lead single and title track, Loved Me Back to Life, which was released on September 3, 2013. Loved Me Back to Life is Dion's first English-language studio album since Taking Chances. It was produced by Emanuel Kiriakou, Babyface, Stewart, Pearce, Kuk Harrell, Egg White, Play Production, Ne-Yo and Walter Afanasieff among others. The album includes 2 duets, Incredible with Ne-Yo and Overjoyed with Stevie Wonder. Loved Me Back to Life garnered mostly positive reviews from music critics and has sold more than 1.3 million copies worldwide as of December 18, 2013. Background: in June 2012, Dion's official website announced that during April and May, the singer began recording songs for her next English and French albums which were to be released in the fall of 2012. The English album was to feature studio versions of previously unreleased songs from Dion's Las Vegas show, Celine, as well as several brand new tracks. In August 2012, CelineDion.com confirmed that a cover of Journey's Open Arms, which opens Dion's Las Vegas show, will be included on the upcoming English-language album. In September 2012, it was also revealed that Ne Me Quit Pa will appear on the English album. Eventually, Ne Me Quit Pa was released on the deluxe edition of Sans Attendre and Open Arms was included on the Japanese edition of the English album only. Le Journal de Montre Copyright L stated that the English album will also contain some songs written by Egg White, who worked with Adele on 19 and 21, some tracks produced by Babyface and a duet with Stevie Wonder on Overjoyed, which Dion performs during her Las Vegas show. In March 2013, Ne-Yo confirmed information which first appeared on Dion's official website in September 2012, that both singers recorded a duet. Ne-Yo said that it was a challenge and it made him question his vocal ability. The duo first worked together on 2007's Taking Chances, with Ne-Yo co-writing and co-producing I Got Nothing Left. Another new track written by Diane Warren, Unfinished Songs, was included in the British-German film Song for Marion. However, when the soundtrack for the movie was released in February 2013, it did not feature Dion's song which was saved for her upcoming album. The recording session for Unfinished Songs was posted on Dion's website in July 2013. On September 14, 2012, CelineDion.com announced that Dion's new English album titled Water and a Flame will be released in November 2012. However, on September 26, 2012, Sony Music Entertainment decided to postpone the release date of the new English-language album to 2013. In March 2013, Rena Copyright Anger Copyright Lil explained that they decided to delay the release date because the concept of the album has changed. Instead of only half of the disc with original songs, they decided that the majority of the album should be original songs. Anger Copyright Lil stated that initially, the album was supposed to have 6 covers and 6 original songs. After further discussion, they decided to put 2 covers from Dion's Las Vegas show, at 17, and Overjoyed. The behind-the-scenes look at Dion recording at 17, with Babyface producing it, was posted on her website in April 2013. Overjoyed, with new arrangement by Stevie Wonder, was co-produced by Stewart. In April 2013, CelineDion.com presented a behind-the-scenes look at Dion and producer Egg White recording the song Water and a Flame. The rest of the album was to contain original songs, including 2 co-written by Audra May, the great-great-niece of Judy Garland. The album was scheduled for release in October 2013. In July 2013, it was announced that it will be titled Loved Me Back to Life. Dion performed the title song live for the very first time during her copyright line. Une seule fois concert in Quebec City on July 27, 2013, and 2 days later her website announced that the album will be released in November 2013. Content: on August 29, 2013, Billboard exclusively announced that the new album, Loved Me Back to Life, will be issued in North America on November 5, 2013, and that the lead single, Loved Me Back to Life will be released on September 3, 2013. Billboard wrote that the album will be Dion's edgiest record to date, just not in the ways you might think. For example, Water and a Flame, originally recorded by Daniel Merriweather and Adele, finds Dion utilizing the lower, grainier register of her voice. Even more unexpected is the lead single, Loved Me Back to Life, the album's title track penned by Sayar Furler and produced by Sham and Mozart. Sung in a minor key, the song is a different kind of power ballad for Dion, backed by a chorus that features a beat drop that could almost be described as dubstep. The new album also features a pair of tracks written by Ne-Yo, including the duet Incredible, which sounds so massive the Olympic Committee should start bookmarking it for the 2014 Winter Games. There's also collaborations with Babyface, Tricky Stewart, and Swedish trio Play Production, the latter of whom produced the beat-driven Somebody Loved Somebody, penned by Audra May. Loved Me Back to Life also features two covers from Dion's Las Vegas show Selena Janice Ian's At 17, and Irreverent take on Overjoyed, which doubles as a duet with Stevie Wonder himself. However, the deluxe edition includes two more songs which Dion performs in Las Vegas, How Do You Keep the Music Playing? And Lullaby, plus 4 collector postcards. Loved Me Back to Life also features unfinished songs written by Diane Warren for the British-German film Song for Marion. The album was also released on a vinyl LP and includes Save Your Soul with rap interlude by Malcolm David Kelly from MKTO. This 2-disc 180-gram vinyl includes an 8-page booklet featuring exclusive photos and imagery, and also a CD of the full album. Open Arms, which is included on the Japanese edition only, was produced by Fraser T. Smith, who also co-wrote and produced Set Fire to the Rain by Adele. The album also contains Breakaway written by Audra May, Joan Franzen, Tim Larson, and Tobias Lundgren, and previously recorded by German singer Ivy Quainu for her 2012 album Ivy. On October 29, 2013, Billboard published another article stating that Always Be Your Girl was the first original song found for the album. It was written by Dana Parrish and Andrew Hollander after watching Dion's 2011 documentary, 3 Boys and a New Show on OWN. Dion claims to hold a special connection to the song as she thinks of her sons when she hears the lyrics. Singles: the first single, Loved Me Back to Life, was released on September 3, 2013. In the United States, it debuted at number 26 on the Billboard's Adult Contemporary, becoming Dion's 40th entry on this chart. Loved Me Back to Life peaked on the AC chart in the 3rd week, reaching number 24. The song has sold 23,000 downloads in the first week, enabling its debut on Pop Digital Songs at number 19 and on Hot Digital Songs at number 63. It also reached number 3 on the Hot Dance Club Songs. In Canada, Loved Me Back to Life landed the Hot Shot debut on the Canadian Hot 100, coming in at number 26. It became Dion's best debut to date on the chart and her second best peak on the list, only behind 2007's Taking Chances. In the United Kingdom, Loved Me Back to Life reached number 14, becoming Dion's highest charting single since A New Day Has Come got to number 7 in 2002. Breakaway was released as a second but promotional-only single in the United Kingdom on December 5, 2013 and in France on January 22, 2014. On February 14, 2014, Incredible was digitally released as the second single in most European countries, in Australia and New Zealand. The song was also sent to adult contemporary radio stations in the United States on February 24, 2014, where it reached number 25. On the Canadian Hot 100, Incredible peaked at number 44. The music video for Incredible premiered on June 4, 2014. Water and a Flame was released as the third Radio UK single in February 2014. Promotion: after a little promotion of the first single Loved Me Back to Life in the United States in September 2013, another new track, Somebody Loved Somebody, premiered on October 17, 2013. The official audio of Somebody Loved Somebody was released onto Dion's Vevo channel on October 22, 2013. On October 29, 2013, the official audio of Incredible was released as well. On November 5, 2013, 2 more tracks were uploaded on Vevo, Water and a Flame, and at 17. And on December 3, 2013, the audio of Breakaway was added as well. A few videos of making the songs were also posted on Vevo. Dion started promoting her album in the United States. On October 28, 2013, she performed Somebody Loved Somebody, and Water and a Flame on The Today Show and Loved Me Back to Life on Late Night with Jimmy Fallon. She performed Loved Me Back to Life on The View on October 30, 2013. Additionally, Dion gave an intimate club performance at the Edison Ballroom in New York City on October 29, 2013, which was broadcast on November 1, 2013 on QVC. She performed her old hits and few new songs, including Loved Me Back to Life, Water and a Flame, and at 17, and the concert received great reviews. On November 6, 2013, Dion performed Somebody Love Somebody on The Driver's Show. In Canada, she sang Loved Me Back to Life, and Incredible with Ne-Yo on La Banquille on November 3, 2013. In Europe, Dion performed Loved Me Back to Life on Wetten, Das. In Germany on November 9, 2013 and The X Factor in the United Kingdom on November 10, 2013. She also recorded a performance of Breakaway for another UK show, Strictly Come Dancing, which was broadcast on December 15, 2013. Dion also performed Loved Me Back to Life, at 17, and her older hits on Kissed Votre Vie in France on November 16, 2013. She also sang Loved Me Back to Life, and Water and a Flame during her Sans Attendre tour, which started in Belgium on November 21, 2013. Later in France, Dion performed Loved Me Back to Life on Les Chansons d'Abord on December 1, 2013, Vivement Dimanche on December 8, 2013, Les Disques d'Or on December 18, 2013 and C'est Soir Enchanté on January 3, 2014. Additionally, her concert, Car Copyright Line Une seule fois was broadcast on 3 European channels, RTS2 in Switzerland on December 24, 2013, D8 in France on December 25, 2013 and La Une in Belgium on December 31, 2013. Dion returned to the United States in mid-December 2013 and performed Incredible with Ne-Yo during the grand finale of The Voice on December 17, 2013. The next day, she sang Loved Me Back to Life, Incredible with Ne-Yo and Didn't Know Love during the CBS 15th annual A Home for the Holidays television special that celebrates the joy of adoption by sharing stories of adoption from foster care in order to raise awareness for the cause. On December 30, 2013, Dion returned to performing her show Celine in Las Vegas and recorded Loved Me Back to Life especially for the Canadian Global Television Network as part of the ET Canada's New Year's Eve at Niagara Falls. On December 31, 2013, Ne-Yo surprised Dion when he showed up to perform Incredible at the New Year's Eve performance of Celine in Las Vegas. Reception. Critical reception, Loved Me Back to Life garnered mostly positive reviews from music critics. According to the music review aggregator Metacritic, it has received a score of 65/100, indicating generally favorable reviews. AllMusic gave the album 3.5 stars, and called it a record that flirts with new ideas but never hooks up. Yet, that flirtation counts for something. It means the album is livelier, less self-conscious, less beholden to the expected, and quick-footed enough to not seem mired in showbiz glitz. The review by Stephen Thomas Aliwi noted that there's nothing here that screams big hit but it's something better, the work of a diva who is comfortable in her own skin. In a positive review, the New York Times critic John Caramanica first noted Dion's usual musical inclinations towards melodrama and bombast, noting that she is the iceberg, destroying all Titanics. However, he then commended Dion's attempt to evolve, commenting that she'd bothered to innovate at all on the strong Loved Me Back to Life, her first English-language album in 6 years, is worthy in and of itself. Compared with her usual motor-powered balladry, this album is positively peppy. You can just register the faint outline of contemporary R&B and even hip-hop, thanks to a pair of productions by Tricky Stewart. On the vinyl version of the track Save Your Soul, there's a rap interlude by Malcolm David Kelly, late of Lost and now of the pop-hip-hop duo MKTO. There's also an implicit embrace of current dance pop on the title track, which was written in part by Sia, the Australian singer and songwriter whose Titanium was one of last year's most vocally ambitious dance diva hits. Karamanaka also complimented Dion's improved delivery. On this album she's singing with more rhythm, if not more clarity, than usual. Eliza Gardner of USA Today gave the album 3 out of 4 stars, acknowledging Dion's use of softer, grittier vocals and more nuanced drama than previous power ballads. Gardner also noted, a subtler, more subdued Celine Dion may be interesting in theory, but bright shades still suit this diva best. The Oakland press critic Gary Graff awarded the album 3 out of 4 stars, stating that the disc finds Dion creatively frisky and exploring new sonic environments for the muscular voice that helped sink the Titanic, at least on film with help from producers such as Hashim Hussain, Emanuel Kiriakou and the Swedish team Play Production. The more contemporary approach is evident from the get-go on the Sia Fuller co-written title track, with its stuttering vocal hook and dubstep-style beats, which wouldn't sound out of place on, say, a Rihanna album. Graff concluded, it's not a wholesale reinvention, but Loved Me Back to Life will make fans look at Dion a little differently, and might even bring some new folks in from the sidelines. Slant magazine gave Loved Me Back to Life a more mixed review. Despite allowing the overall album a seemingly positive score of 3 out of 5, critic Eric Henderson found the shift to more contemporary material unconvincing, noting that if Chaka Khan was every woman, Dion is and ever shall be every awkward soccer mom. Only now, she's taken her CDR of Celtic pop tunes out of the SUV stereo and is bumping a mix of mid-tempo neo-power ballads from the likes of Kesha and Katy Perry instead. Typical of mothers struggling to fit in with the next generation, the chief intention of Loved Me Back to Life is to pass for contemporary. On a positive note, Henderson opined that the album works when Dion sticks to her established signature style. Dion's cover of Janice Ian's Rueful at 17 comes off less like a lament for childhood dreams that didn't come to pass and more like a lilting word of advice from someone old enough to know better, which is precisely the zone where the album excels, when Dion drops the act and embraces her manic, Hallmark card-brandishing guru of schmaltz. Steve Morse of the Boston Globe dismissed the album as littered with syrupy, easy-listening, trite lyric ballads that undersell her talent. Similar to Slant magazine critic Eric Henderson's review, Morse maintained that Dion is at her best when she reverts to her old formula, stating, she experiments at times with a more gravelly voice, suggesting a bid for more street appeal, but the overall effect is stiff and mechanical, minus the warmth for which he is known. Renownedforsound.com praised the album, giving the collection a 4-star review saying it goes to show that Celine Dion has released something delightful for old and new fans, with a mixture of songs that have both a pop R&B focus as well as encompassing her adult contemporary pop roots. Commercial performance: in Dion's native Canada, Loved Me Back to Life debuted at number 1 with 106,000 units sold. It became her 13th number 1 album in the SoundScan era and 11th to debut at the top of the chart. Loved Me Back to Life marked the best one-week sales total for any release in Canada since 2008, when AC/DC's Black Ice sold 119,000 units. It also became Dion's best one-week sales total since she sold 152,000 copies in the first week of release of 2002's A New Day Has Come. In its second week, the album remained at number 1, selling 31,000 units. After just these 2 weeks of sales, Loved Me Back to Life was placed at number 9 on the Billboard year-end chart of top Canadian albums. For the next 3 weeks, it occupied the number 2 position on the Canadian albums chart, selling 15,000, 19,000 and again 19,000 copies. Later, Loved Me Back to Life fell to number 6 with sales of 13,000 units, and in the 7th week it rose to number 4, selling another 19,000 copies. In the last week of 2013, the album fell to number 6 with sales of 10,000 units, bringing the total sales to 231,000 copies. It became the second best-selling album in Canada in 2013 after Eminem's The Marshall Mathers LP2, which sold 242,000 units. In December 2013, Dion's album was certified 4 times platinum by Music Canada for shipping 320,000 copies. In the United States, Loved Me Back to Life debuted at number 2 with 77,000 copies sold in its first week and became Dion's highest-charting album since One Heart also bowed at number 2 in 2003. In the next 2 weeks, Loved Me Back to Life fell to number 13 and 26, selling 25,000 and 13,000 units. In the fourth week, the album moved up 1 spot to number 25 selling 30,000 copies. Later, it dropped to number 35 with sales of 16,000 units and number 38 selling another 16,000 copies. On its 7th week, thanks to Dion's performance on the grand finale of The Voice and the CBS 15th annual A Home for the Holidays television special, the album went up to number 26 with 28,000 units sold. In the final week of 2013, Loved Me Back to Life fell to number 31 selling 19,000 copies and bringing its total to 224,000 units sold. In the United Kingdom, Loved Me Back to Life debuted at number 3 with 53,000 copies sold, becoming Dion's highest-charting album since 2002 chart topper A New Day Has Come. On November 22, 2013, Loved Me Back to Life was certified silver in the UK for selling over 60,000 copies. In the second week, it fell to number 4 selling 28,000 units and in the third week it slipped to number 8 with sales of another 28,000 copies. After these 3 weeks, on December 6, 2013 the album was certified gold in the UK for selling over 100,000 units. In the next 2 weeks, Loved Me Back to Life stayed at number 8 selling 34,000 and 44,000 copies respectively. In the 6th week, after Dion's performance on Strictly Come Dancing, the album jumped to number 7 selling 64,000 units. The next week, Loved Me Back to Life fell to number 13, selling 33,000 copies, bringing the total sales to 283,000 units. After these 7 weeks in 2013, it reached number 23 on the UK year-end albums chart. As of February 2, 2014, the album has sold over 300,000 copies and 5 days later it was certified platinum in the UK. In France, Loved Me Back to Life entered the chart at number 3 selling 31,000 copies. In the next weeks, it occupied the following positions, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 10 and number 11. In the 7th week, the album jumped to number 10 with its biggest weekly sales of 34,000 copies. In the last week of 2013, it rose to number 9 selling 25,000 units and bringing total sales to 186,000 copies. On December 18, 2013, Loved Me Back to Life was certified 2 times platinum by SNEP for shipping 200,000 units. As of June 1, 2014, it has sold over 215,000 copies in France. The album proved similarly successful in other countries, peaking at number 1 in the Netherlands, number 2 in Belgium and Taiwan, number 3 in Switzerland, Ireland and South Africa, number 4 in Austria, Hungary and China, number 7 in Norway, number 8 in Czech Republic and South Korea, number 9 in Germany, Australia and Croatia, and number 10 in New Zealand. It also reached top 20 in Denmark, Italy, Poland, Spain, Portugal, Greece, Sweden, Croatia and Finland. Loved Me Back to Life was also certified gold in Belgium, Switzerland, Poland, Hungary and South Africa, and has sold more than 1.3 million copies worldwide as of December 18, 2013. Awards. Thanks to Loved Me Back to Life, Dion was nominated for 4 Juno Awards of 2014, Artist of the Year, Fan Choice Award, Album of the Year and Adult Contemporary Album of the Year. Dion was also nominated for 6 2014 World Music Awards, including World's Best Female Artist, World's Best Album and World's Best Song. Controversy. Loved Me Back to Life was originally to be titled Water and a Flame, named after another track on the album, Water and a Flame, written by Australian singer-songwriter Daniel Merriweather along with British musician Egg White, and first performed by Merriweather and Adele. In an April 2013 interview on the Katie Couric Show to promote the album, Dion played a recording of her cover of Water and a Flame. Right before hearing the song, Katie Couric asked Dion and her husband manager, Rena copyright Anger copyright Lil, in reference to the then title of the album, Where Did Water and a Flame Come From? Anger copyright Lil responded, "It's, you know, the opposites," and Dion replied, "It's the name of the song." Musician Samantha Ronson, who is a friend of Merriweather's, wrote a blog post that included the video of the interview and the text, "Dear Celine Dion, when you cover someone else's song you might want to give them credit." In June 2013, Merriweather linked to Ronson's post from his Facebook page and harshly criticized Dion, writing, "This song has every ounce of my heartache and pain in it and she pretends as if she wrote it herself." 2 days later, Dion's management responded on her website, saying that, while Dion often does not mention the writers of her songs, she has been very vocal about the fact that she does not write her own songs, that she did not intend any harm by the omission, and that all of the writers and producers were always credited on the liner notes. On July 25, 2013, her website confirmed that the album was retitled to Loved Me Back to Life. Track listings, notes: A. Signifies a vocal producer, B. Signifies an additional producer, C. Signifies a co-producer. Charts and certifications, release history, see also, list of fastest selling albums, list of #1 albums of 2013, references.